It's been a while since I've done a little sit-down video with y'all, and this is just how it's gonna look today. I apologize for the horrible lights, my disgusting appearance. It was a rough weekend working, but you know what? I have this sick Yuri on Ice shirt. If I had a promo with Hot Topic, I would put the link down below, but I don't because I am not as popular as I would hope to be. Today is a long overdue video. I have been waiting to find time where I can sit down and film. It has been a rough year, you guys. I never have time alone, and if you have a dorm as a college student, you will know the struggle that I am talking about. Never having alone time. It is a rough life. I kind of want to die a little inside. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about today. Today we are talking about Anime Boston, and yes, I know some of you are thinking, didn't Anime Boston happen literally a month ago? And yes, it basically did. Today I'm going to be doing something that I want to start doing with all of the conventions I go to, and that is reviews, telling you whether or not you should go to these conventions, because going to conventions is a lot of money. Sometimes the admission alone can be over $70, and you don't want to spend $70 on admission and then hundreds of other dollars on things like food and cosplay and transportation and not even like the convention that you go to. So today we're going to be starting a new series, and I'm doing convention reviews. Call me basic if you want to. It's fine, I've accepted it. Let's get right into Anime Boston. I hate that I keep doing awkward hand gestures, please forgive me. So with Anime Boston, in years past, they've kind of had a bad reputation with the staff, but this year, the staff really impressed me. All of the staff members that I encountered this year were super nice. A lot of people complain about the way that Anime Boston runs their bag checks. Not only do you have to get your bag checked every time you come into the convention, you also have to go through those wand things to make sure that there's nothing dangerous on you. They used to have like actual metal detectors where you would have to walk through those, but now they're just doing the wands. And they were able to make that process really speedy. I remember the first time I went to Anime Boston last year, we spent a lot of time in lines just going through the metal detectors. And this year, the way that they do the wands now is super efficient, and I have to applaud them on that. Not only that, but everyone who was checking my bags and everyone who was like doing the wand thing, I keep going like this. Everyone who was performing the wand duty on me was super nice as well. There was one woman who I encountered multiple times throughout the weekend because we were leaving and entering the convention space so much. She loved my Victor cosplay. She was so sweet. Every time I walked up, she was like, "Ooh, Victor, you're back. I love you, Victor." And I was just like, "Yes, girls." Like, flapping my non-existent weave. Like, wow. Where was I going with this? All of those people were super friendly, and they weren't even a part of like Anime Boston staff. They were like, I'm sure like Heinz staff or something like that. Which, if you don't know, I probably should have said this earlier. Wow, I'm off to a great start. In the past, Anime Boston has been held on Easter weekend. This year it was held from March 29th to April 2nd, and it is held in the Heinz Convention Center in Boston, Massachusetts. Now, the cool thing about the Heinz is that it's attached to a mall, and this is kind of a cool thing and a bad thing, because like you have to walk through the mall to get to the convention space, and you have to deal with a lot of people because obviously they're not going to shut down the mall for the con. So there's people, normal people there who are like staring at you, and it's always really busy that weekend. But the cool thing is that there's a ton of fun places to eat, so you don't really have to worry about food that much. There's an AVP, there's a Dun Don. So these people were probably not affiliated with Anime Boston, which like made it all the better that they were so nice and so like cool to see all these people cosplaying. But Anime Boston's staff as a whole were really nice too. There were some staffers that came up to Mandy and I and were like saying how much they loved our costume and how we were the best Victor and Yuri they saw. And I just thought that was super sweet that like staffers were going out of their way to interact with the con goers. And then the event that Mandy and I were in, the couple game, the staffer who ran that was super nice. They were so encouraging and so like eager to answer questions and just very easy to approach, and I really appreciated them. For staff, I am giving Anime Boston a 10 out of 10. Definitely the best con staff I've ever encountered. Moving on to the dealer's hall. Now, Anime Boston, I feel like, is probably one of the cons with the best dealer's hall. The Anime Boston is the largest convention in New England, so they also have exclusive stuff. The past 2 years, K-Lab has attended, and this year they sold the Aqua jerseys, which everyone was super excited about. And then there was my personal favorite. Arta Wigs actually had a booth where they collected a ton of Yuri on Ice merch. They kind of marketed it as a like Ita bag station, and they also sold their own like Ita bag bases that had like their logo on them. So that was really cool. And just the dealer's hall overall had a ton of cool merch to offer. Obviously, I was really pleased because they had a ton of Aqua and a ton of Yuri on Ice, which are my two favorite fandoms at the moment. So I'm gonna show you guys what I got this year. Mini video within a video. This is my Ita bag right now. I got some stuff from Bai and I added it, but that's not what we're talking about today. Right now we're talking about the stuff that I got from Anime Boston. So I got a few of the items from the Arta booth. I wish I would have gotten more, but it was a little bit pricey. This was my most exciting thing that I bought this year. It was I believe it's from the Animate Cafe, and he is really expensive in other places like on Bai and stuff just because Victor is so popular, and this one is kind of rare, I guess. But he was only $15 as opposed to like $50 or like $70, so I was really happy to get him. This one, which is fairly common, a lot of people are selling these. It was $15 as well, so kind of pricey, but you know, like after you pay for like middleman services and shipping, it kind of evens out. And then I got this guy. I believe he was $10, also really common from a gacha, but I love him, and when I saw him I had to have him. And then also, this is going to be hard to show, but we put him on my bag at the con. I got one of the little buttons, the wedding button right here. I believe it's from like a market campaign where you get them. There's like Victor, Yurio, and Yuri, and there's the wedding half and then the pets half, and when you buy snacks at some mart in Japan, you get those. That was probably like $10 too. And then I got two little dia charms. These are like my favorite type of Love Live charms. I love this art style, and they're rubber, so those are really nice. And like the little red chains, even though I'm probably gonna take them off for when I start making my dia Ita bag, it's like a nice touch. These were 2 for $15, which was really good. It might have been a discount on Sunday price because I got them on Sunday, but it was basically 2 charms for the price of 1 because a lot of them would be like $12 on their own. I was pretty pleased with my purchases, and if you're interested to see someone go hog wild in the dealer's hall, check out Mandy's channel because she spent way too much money in the dealer's hall. Considering that Anime Boston had so much great merch to offer, I am giving their dealer's hall a 10 out of 10. Now for events, unfortunately I didn't attend too many events this year, but the cool thing about Anime Boston is that they always have an amazing masquerade, and the AMV contest is also really good as well. Oh, and their deathmatch is really good too. Now, I'm from the West Coast, and cons there don't have a deathmatch, but what it is basically you go up and you can be either solo or with a team, and the crowd just basically cheers for you, and whoever gets the most cheers out of all the different teams that go against one another is the winner. And it can be really funny because you like plan out little interactions with one another. But the event that I was in, even though the coordinator was really, really nice, the event itself was really cringy. You could tell that like it wasn't super practiced or anything. And being that it's like a game show, improv is expected, but it was just kind of like awkward. There were a lot of awkward pauses. The hosts didn't really seem to know what they were doing, and I really felt awkward, and my friends were there and I feel bad because they didn't really enjoy it. So I wish that the smaller events like the couple game and the dating game were more like planned out to the scale that the deathmatch and the masquerade are, because those events are always amazing. So for that reason, I'm giving events a 7 out of 10 instead of a better score, just because my life. I just got interrupted because my roommate walked in, so that was awkward. That is exactly what I feared was going to happen. I was talking about the events, and I think I was about to say the score that I gave them. So because some of the events that I went to were a little, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Unfortunately, I'm going to score Anime Boston a little bit lower for the events category because some events that aren't the main events are a little bit cringy, and that's just good to know if you're a person that really likes to go to panels and stuff. So I'm giving them a 7.5 out of 10 because while there are those really good events, the ones that you know you have to go to, there are some that are going to be a little bit hard to sit through. Moving on to the niceness of cosplayers. Now, this sounds really weird, but it's something really important to me. When I go to conventions, I like to meet new people and I like to talk to them about their fandoms, and if I see someone cosplaying the same thing as me, I really like to talk to them because I like to ask them why they like the character. So this is something that I really want to put out there because I know that a lot of conventions, especially big conventions like Anime Boston, have a stigma of having elitist, the dreaded word elitist. But in my experiences at both years of Anime Boston, I haven't experienced any elitist. I just don't really think that that's a thing. While there are some amazing cosplays, everyone is really down to earth. The amount of people that came up to Mandy and I and complimented us without even knowing who we were was amazing. And on top of that, we met so many viewers. I know that I met a few viewers, and I actually put some of those moments in my vlogs, which was really cool. And Mandy met some of her viewers, and even Devin met some of her viewers, which was amazing for us. So it was really cool to experience that, and especially at the Yuri and Ice gathering on Saturday, everyone was so supportive. There are some conventions where you feel like it's hard to approach people, but I feel like at Anime Boston everyone's just chilling, having a good time, and it's really awesome. So for that reason, I'm giving the niceness of cosplayers, I'm gonna have to figure out a better category name, but I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. So if you're going to a con to meet new people, I definitely recommend Anime Boston. Not only are there amazing costumes, but from my experience, everyone is super easy to approach and super fun to talk to. The last category I'm going to be talking about today is the convention space as a whole. So I kind of mentioned this earlier, but I just want to go into a little bit more detail. The actual Heinz Convention Center is really, I feel, not fit for an anime convention. The halls that they have for all the panels are really, really nice. Most of the panel rooms are really big. Even the ones that aren't main events, like the one that we were in, it was a huge hall and we only filled it half the way up. So that was really good because a lot of cons don't really have big panel rooms, and then you run into the issue of standing room only. Other than that, the convention space for the size that Anime Boston is growing to be is really not fit, and it's really awkward because basically the way that Anime Boston works is there's hallways with all the panel rooms, and then there's a center where there's loops of other hallways, and there's escalators going up and down all the floors. So basically if you're on the top floor and you're in the circular area, you can look down and see the entire convention space. The only place outside of this giant escalator area are little hallways with some benches and the panel rooms and the dealer's hall, but the dealer's hall is crazy and you don't want to go hang out in there. We're both in bad moods because we've been in the dealer's hall for I think 2 hours now. There's nowhere outside to chill. There's not really anywhere to chill unless you're in the dealer's hall, but that's not really a chill place because you're very anxiety induced. I may or may not have had a panic attack while I was looking through the merch because there were so many people. And other than that, the only other place to hang out is the mall, like I mentioned, but it's so crowded during the convention weekend and there's not really anywhere to sit. So sometimes we'd be sitting on the floor, and then mall staff had to come and ask us to stand up, and it was painful. So for that reason, I'm giving a little bit of a lower score for the convention space. I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10 because the panel rooms are great, but it really sucks not being able to just have a place to calm down, because if you want to calm down and just sit, you're gonna have to go outside into the mall, and then you're gonna have to go through security to come back in, and it's just really unfortunate. So I really hope that if Anime Boston continues to grow the way that it is, that they can find a better space. It's a great con to see awesome cosplayers, meet new people, get great merch, and just experience Boston. And for the cost of Anime Boston, oh my god, it's so worth it. I think it's like $60. So if you're thinking about going, I say do it at least once to see if you like it or not. But it's definitely one of my favorite cons, if not my favorite con. So let me know about your experiences if you've gone to Anime Boston, and I hope you look forward to more convention reviews in the future. Bye guys!